You may be the CEO in the room, but your fear may still be running the meeting. The higher you rise, your fear and your anxiety can hide behind your competence, your position, and your name. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Namita Purohit Show. Today, we're going to talk about fear and anxiety and how to overcome it. I request the tech team to please show the slides. The Namita Purohit Show. I'm Namita Purohit. I'm an exec coach and author. And in this show, we talk about mastering leadership influence, emotional and self mastery, recovering from, recovering your inner power from toxic patterns, and also creating something of impact based on all the expertise that you have. So, yes, today we're going to talk about a simple technique to overcome fear and anxiety, something that we all get affected by at some point in our life. And so for some of us, it's an everyday thing, an every moment thing. For some of us, it's like, yes, we've done some techniques, but it still affects us. And we're going to talk about fear and anxiety, not just as a personal emotion. We're going to talk about that also, about how it impacts the signal, the leadership signal that you're giving out, how it affects your presence, the presence that you're trying to bring into a meeting room, it affects your decisions, how it affects your influence. If there's no influence, there's no leadership. Influence is a big part of leadership. We've also written a book on influence, and you have the link for that in the description below. And also impacts fear and anxiety, also impacts the way people experience you. So there's a real risk, there's a real cost associated with carrying fear and anxiety and having not worked on your own fear and anxiety in a proper way. And it's not just what you're feeling, it's also how you're reacting, and it's also the executive signal, the biological signal that you're giving out, and how your influence will then be impacted in how it cascades across the organization. Now, you may be leading a company or a team or a family, but if fear is running your inner system, it's going to guide all your decisions, right? And how you show up is going to become very unstable. The body language, the voice, the words that you use, and you're not going to be, people who are depending on you for your leadership will find it hard to feel psychologically safe because they see you being scared in a certain situation when they are actually looking at you for their safety and for their growth and for their path ahead. So, very important for all of us who are leaders in different ways, either in a company or a team or leading at home or a community. Now, today we're going to talk about what is fear and anxiety. We're going to talk about Dhritarashtra's example. We're going to talk about how it affects your biological signal. Then, 3 steps that you can do to handle it in the moment, just before you have a big presentation, just before you're entering a big meeting, just before you are about to give a presentation, just before you need to have a critical conversation at home or in the workplace. What are the 3 steps you can do? And these 3 steps you can do even when you are feeling very overwhelmed in your emotions. Yes, we're going to talk about the intelligence behind your emotions, and it is emotional intelligence, if we remember. Yes, there's an intelligence behind your emotions. Your emotions are telling you something, and how do you access that intelligence? And the spiritual step that you need to take, in addition to the 3 steps, and I invite you to take that step if it is something that you're aligned with. And, you know, this is something I told myself. I'm not saying it to you. May sound offensive to you, but this is something I told myself when I was massively overcome with fear and anxiety. I'm going to keep that story as we progress through the presentation today. You're dead anyway. What do you have? You're dead anyway. Yes, so we're going to get to that story also, and there's going to be lots of stories, the client examples, examples from scripture, lots of things. So I'm looking forward to a fun ride with you. So let's get to the next slide. Now, what are things that we fear? We fear if we're going to lose our social standing, if we're going to lose our competition, or there's a risk, then we are full of fear and anxiety. when our name, our fame is at stake, our relationships are at stake, when some dear near one is about to pass, or our lover is not texting us back immediately. Some of us are concerned about losing our beauty, losing our youth. Many such things, and you can read the slide here. You're all intelligent people. So, fear and anxiety arise when something important to you feels threatened. Yes, there was once this kid who came to my house, 2 year old. Um, I think 2 year old. He was speaking really clearly, and he was like, do you have bhujia? I said, yeah, I have bhujia. It's an Indian savory. And so I got him some bhujia in a bowl and I gave it to him. And it's like finger food you can have. And then he started eating it. So then he was spilling a little bit on my couch. So I got him a tray so that, he could put that bowl inside the tray, and and then he could spill all he wanted and everything would be in the tray and none of us would be worried about it. And when I got the tray, I lifted his bhujia bowl. I slid the tray under, and he immediately hit my hand, pulled the bowl back, and he looked at me in fear. And then from fear came anger. How dare you touch my bowl? And I was thinking, I'm the provider for this bowl in this moment. Of course, God provides everything, but I'm the one who gave you the bowl. So why would I steal it from you? But you see, fear, how we act out of fear, uh, and then we behave out of fear. When something that we hold dear is, we feel scared about it, or something that we need to protect. Yes. And it could be your belonging, it could be your reputation, it could be your influence, it could be your success, it could be your identity, or the future you're trying to build, the startup company that you're trying to take ahead, or the subject matter expertise, the leadership that you're trying to build in your particular field, or the beautiful life you want to give to your family. Any of these things, and then there can be so much fear that we can carry. Now, it's about needs. And we have to recognize that I just talked about a little bit about needs. There's belonging, there's name, there's fame, and also things that we fear, that we value, our influence, things that we're trying to build, right? So when your needs are satisfied, when your needs are not threatened, you feel safe. When your needs are not satisfied, there will be fear and anxiety. Yes. Because when your needs are satisfied, you have happy emotions. When your needs are not satisfied, you have not so happy emotions. You're very upset emotions, afraid, anger, depression, all of these things, right? Finally, it connects to what your need is in the moment. Yes. So it's all about needs. But how many of us, and I see a lot of people have joined in, uh, uh, today I see 𝐂𝐸𝐴𝐷, Kamlesh, Suman Shukla, and a few more people here. So, how many of us are aware of our needs? What are your needs as a human being? Are you aware? We all have basic needs, which are, physical safety, emotional safety, desire to live with autonomy, have good friends and relationships, good health, do something meaningful in our lives, and those kind of basic needs that we have based on our panchakoshas, and that Maslow uses and talks about it as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, what are your needs? How many of us are aware of our needs? We're not. So when your needs are satisfied, you're happy. When your needs are not satisfied or they're being threatened, is when you feel fear and anxiety. Now, think about this. Let's see if we have some examples here. So that's why we get anxious, right? Now, say if you're in a meeting where your influence is not landing, people are not buying into what you're saying, right? So your need to be seen as a leader, your need for leadership, your need for acceptance by your team, some of those needs are not being satisfied. When you've given it your all and yet things are not moving, your need for certainty is not satisfied. That makes you fearful and anxious. You're about to pitch to a venture capitalist, to get funded for your startup company, and you're anxious. You're anxious before the meeting, even if you're well prepared, even if your product is good, even if it has a great product market fit, even if you already have live customers, but you're still fearful and anxious because a lot of your future and the plans that you have are tied to whether you're going to get funding or not. So again, your need for certainty, your need for growth, your need for your plans fructifying is not is on stake, and that's why therefore you can get fearful and anxious. Also, you may have a great idea, fantastic idea, but you don't have the agency to make things happen, right? And that's what makes you fearful and anxious. And then because you become fearful and anxious, you further lose the agency that you could have, and become more and more fearful and anxious. Or when a relationship seems to be going awry, you think you have a great partner and now it's time to get engaged, get married, and then suddenly your partner is acting in a certain way which disturbs you, or which makes you feel insecure, or maybe they started seeing somebody else, or you had a breakup. And then again, it's your need for a strong relationship with somebody who gets you is not getting satisfied. It makes you anxious as a leader. And when you're not seen for who you are, you're absolutely talented, but you haven't gotten your due, uh, either at home or in the workplace. People know you for certain skills, but they really don't know your full potential, and you haven't yet gotten the canvas to express your full potential. So that can make you very anxious too. Now, when this happens, and there's a lot to lose, and now add to that, you don't just have needs, but you also have demands, right? Some of us carry some of these demands, and I probably had 5 or 6 of them that I had to overcome in my life because it wasn't healthy for me. And some of those demands could be that things must be how I want them to be. And if that doesn't happen, it's a disaster. So if I get into that room and I pitch to that venture capitalist, to that VC to fund my company, and if it doesn't happen, it's a disaster. That creates even more fear and anxiety when I have such a thought process. Well, it's not a disaster. It's not the end of the world. You can go and try another one and another one and another one. And I just, in my inside of my membership, my coaching program, I'd invited a founder who had knocked the doors of 100 VC companies in order to get funded. And one clicked at the end. But right at the end, when things were getting really difficult because they had bootstrapped their company. Yes. Now, people must love me the way I want them to love me. And if that doesn't happen, then I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be fearful. I'm going to be anxious that I'm not lovable, or whatever that is. Now, for a leader in a meeting, it could be that people must approve and people must agree with everything that I'm saying. And if that doesn't happen, then that means my leadership is a disaster. It didn't land really well. So we have some of these very irrational demands that we carry. If I don't get this promotion, it's going to be horrible, right? If I fail in the meeting, my team's never going to trust me again, right? So we have these kind of demands. Some of them, some of us do. And you want to recognize yourself. Where do you stand in terms of this demandingness, which actually makes your life very stressful, right? It actually takes away happiness, joy, freedom from your life. And these demands kind of fall to these 3 core principles, which is disasterization, catastrophization, where we're like, everything is a catastrophe. It's a disaster if things don't go my way. No, it's not a volcano eating your house. It's not your house going on fire. It's not death. It's probably that reaction of that happening is at 100, then this one could be at a 20. Yes. Now, people rating, right? So if things don't go in a certain way, we tend to rate others and we tend to rate ourselves. I'm a failure. I'm useless. I'm good for nothing. That person is horrible because they didn't meet my need. And this. So we end up doing a lot of this people rating. And we also have, some of us could have low frustration tolerance. It's called I can't stand it-itis. It could also be that I can't stand it if I don't have clarity, if all my meetings don't happen exactly how my calendar was during the day, in the morning when I check my calendar, or on Sunday when I check my meeting calendar for the next 5 days, or if whatever plans I had for my house, for my life, and if things didn't go exactly that way, then I can't stand it. No, things are not in your control. Things are going to change, right? So some of us have uh, these kind of demands, and add that to our needs, it can create a great volatile combination of fear and anxiety. Now, Dhritarashtra was a king, a caretaker king, but he still was a king nevertheless. And his fear made him weak. He was because he was sitting on something that was not his. It was supposed to be given to his brother's children, the Pandavas. He was just a caretaker till they grew up, but he didn't do that. Yes. Now, his fear made him very weak because he had strong attachment to his son. What was his need? Secure my son as a king of Hastinapur, right? He had a strong fear of loss. What if that doesn't happen? What if the Pandavas, they win and they take away everything? But anyway, it wasn't his. What and there's this fear of conflict. I don't want to create conflict with everybody. He'll say yes to Bhishma, yes to Vidura, his minister. He'll say yes to everybody. Even if they're trying to guide him to do the right thing, he'll say yes, yes, but he won't do anything about it, right? And fear of facing the truth that this kingdom is not his, he's just a caretaker, it clouded his judgment as a leader. And it created such massive disaster. It created such a massive, massive war that destroyed, that even now we read the Mahabharat as an epic to understand, how the story, and to see how different psychological imbalances in these leaders and these fears and these anxieties that they have led to such massive disaster that he even lost his 100 sons for whom he was securing the kingdom. Now, when we hold on to these needs and beliefs, or we don't have a healthy way of addressing our beliefs, and we don't have a healthy way of taking care of our needs, then we avoid the truth, we delay decisions, we protect the wrong people, or we stay silent when dharma requires action. And that's exactly what Dhritarashtra did, and that led to the war, and that led to so much destruction. So now let's try to understand everything in this one slide. So far, whatever I've been trying to tell you, right? So you have needs and you have beliefs. When your needs are satisfied, you're happy. When your needs are not satisfied, you're not so happy. You can have fear and anxiety because if you're fearful of losing something that you want, yes. And then when you have beliefs, the way you think and the way you process things can impact how you feel about them, yes. And then because you feel in a certain way, then you behave in a certain way. It has to come out as behavior. And this is described in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna describes this. Now, and you could read it over there. I think it's from 258 to 262 or 261 to 262. Yeah. But I like all of those verses together because it kind of gives you a nice flow to understand this. Now, it's like a pressure cooker. Now, you have a certain behavior. Right now, your behavior is connected to fear and anxiety because that's what we're talking about today. Yes. Now, when you're talking about fear and anxiety today, that's your behavior. That's the pressure cooker whistle going off. And when the pressure cooker whistle goes off, and I love to share this in every presentation that I talk about because the example really lands with people, is that when the pressure cooker whistle is going off, what do you turn off? Do you press the whistle down? Do you suppress the whistle down so that you don't have to listen to the whistle, or do you turn the flame down? If you press the whistle down, there's still pressure building inside the pressure cooker, and then it's going to explode in a different way. Yes. So what do? The right thing to do is that you turn the flame down, right? So if you want to address your fear and anxiety, which is the whistle, which is the leadership signal that you're giving out in a meeting, that you're giving out to people, that you're giving out even in your personal relationships, the signal that you're giving out, the biological signal that you're giving out, whether this person is calm, collected, trustworthy, centered in themselves, or are they all over the place? Like, should I trust this person or not? Like, can I take shelter of this person or not? Can I feel supported by this person or not? Can this person be a good partner or not? No, but I'm giving out a very fearful and anxious signal, the whistle. That's the signal I'm giving out. So not many people are going to want to be wanting to partner with me, whether it's at work or whether it's in personal life, right? Everyone wants to be around a stable and centered person. So what we need to do is to fix the fear and anxiety, we need to work on our needs and beliefs. Because when we work on our needs and beliefs, then we don't have those feelings of fear and anxiety, and then we don't behave in certain ways where we give out a not so strong leadership signal, not so calm, cool, collected, centered person. Yes. So we need to address our needs and beliefs. Now, how do we address your needs and beliefs? That's something that's important. Yes, so let's look at the next slide. So we're going to go over this, but I also wanted to share it with you. So these are, I'm carrying these with me. Like, these are the Take Charge of Your Emotions flashcards that are available on my website and for shipping in India and most of the world. And the links are in the description below. You can get them. And we're going to do a little exercise using these flashcards right now so that you understand what it is all about. Yes. So a lot of us don't know what our needs are. Yes. We don't have a vocabulary for our own needs. We don't know what, we're not connected enough. We're like, I need water, I need food. But no, I need connection, I need acceptance, I need love, I need to be seen and heard, I have a need to make an impact in the world. All of these things, right? So we don't have a vocabulary. So what I did is I created these flashcards, which has, I think, at least 4 cards, which are just a list of the different types of needs that we have in different categories. So it helps you do this exercise when you have these flashcards handy, because you get the vocabulary, you get the words. Yes. And it also gives you a list of feelings, because a lot of times we don't know what we're feeling. We just know I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling angry. There are so many feelings. And when we name those feelings, it helps us do something about it. Yes. So let's look at next thing, right? So we're going to do a 3-step process today, which is you can do it with the help of these cards, because these cards also have the 3-step process. And I'm going to put some screenshots of these cards for the part of the, for the sake of this exercise, not all of them, but some of them. And then for those of you who are interested, can get these flashcards and keep them in your pocket. Keep them always with you. Keep them in your office desk and prepare yourself before high stakes meetings, before critical conversations, and even after, like, you've had an emotional accident. Then it helps you understand what's happening to you, and it helps you soothe you, and it helps you calm you, right? So we're going to do a 3-step process here, where feel is to understand what's happening inside of you. What are you feeling? Breathe is to bring yourself to a calm state, to bring your inner regulation back, so that you're out, so the biological noise is out and you're calm. And then comfort is to do something to comfort yourself in the moment. Yes. So how are we going to go about this now? Let's do this, right? So step 1, and these are screenshots from these cards, which the link is available in the description where you're watching, right? So think of when you had some difficult scenario. You were all heated up, or you were all fearful, and you were all anxious. And usually anger is telling us that there's something that we value is going to be taken away from us, or is not being followed, and that's what's making us angry, right? So that's what I'm saying. There's so much intelligence behind our emotions. All these feelings and these needs and these beliefs, the emotion is fear and anxiety, but there's so much feelings, needs, and beliefs that's there below it that actually helps us understand what we value, and how do we protect that, and how do we take care of that. Or we may be being irrational, and we don't need to worry about it so much, right? So therefore, it's important to not just be like, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. No, it's important to learn how to calm ourselves down, take that time out, and then do this exercise, understand the feelings, the needs, and the beliefs, and work on them. And gradually, I've been practicing this since 2007, and it's helped me so much. It's so much self-awareness about myself. It helped me say no to so many things in my life, so that I don't fall into things that are not good for me. It helped me grow in so many ways, where I've realized that I'm just fearing things that I'm not supposed to fear. And it's just helped me grow in my leadership, and it's helped me grow my work, where I've been able to name the fear very clearly, and address it and then work on it, right? So that's what we're going to do now. So think about that last very difficult thing that you went through, at home or in the workplace. Anything is fine. Yes. And think about, just close your eyes, breathe easy, connect to yourself, connect to your body, connect, and think about that incident where all of that was happening and you said something, they said something, where you were sitting, where you were standing, what you were doing, what the scenario was about, what you said, what they said. Just remember that. And as you're remembering that, also remember, what were you feeling when you were that fearful and anxious? What were you feeling? Right? And then I'm going to put some words on the screen that are going to help you name your feelings. Right? So you want to say, right? I'm just putting some examples out here, like you were feeling afraid, you were feeling angry, you were feeling appalled, irritated, annoyed, confused, perplexed, surprised, right? Like, oh my, what's going on here, right? So think about what you were feeling, and I'm just changing the slide, right? Some more feelings, and of course, in the cards you have, I think, 4 or 5 such sheets of different feeling words. Like, what were you feeling in that moment? Yeah. Now, as you do that, and you connect with what you were feeling in that moment, the next thing I want to do is I want you to say, I'm feeling, and then the word, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling pained, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling upset, I'm feeling sad, all of these things, right? So whatever you were feeling, tell yourself that. And you'll be like, what's the point of telling myself that? No, but stay, keep your eyes closed and stay with that, right? The next is, I want you to connect with where in your body were you feeling it? Where in your body? And it's amazing that this incident has happened in the past, but as you connect back with it, everything is still so strong for you right now. Yes? So connect with your body, feel in your body. Where are you feeling it? Where in your body are you feeling it? Yes? Now, and like anywhere, how do you know where you're feeling it? It's probably heavy, it's probably shivering, it's probably feeling cold, it's probably feeling hot, it's probably there's some tingling. And what I want you to do is I want you to breathe easy, and I want you to send deep breaths to wherever you were feeling that in your body. And then I want you to send the good, clean breath, the clean prana. And then I want you to release the energy of that feeling outside and send it to the sun or send it to Krishna's lotus feet so that that energy gets dissolved. Yes? Now, I want you to do that. And imagine that the tension is going away. Yes? So I want you to imagine that the tension is going away. And I repeat this process slowly, at least 5 times. Yes? Now you done step 1, you named your feeling. Step 2, you figured out where it is. Step 3 is understanding what do you need to do to feel comfortable again, right? So it could be that either some need of yours is not satisfied. That means you need to take care of that need in that relationship or in that area. Or say if you're going before in a meeting and you're feeling tense, and then you realize my need is to be perfect and I must give a perfect presentation, and that's what you're realizing, your need is perfection right now, and that need you're fearing may not be satisfied, and therefore you're full of fear and anxiety, right? So then what can you do to calm yourself? What do you tell yourself about that need and about that belief that I must be perfect? What do you tell yourself? No, it's okay. I have done enough presentations, and I think I have a handle on this. And I won't. And if I fail, I know how to manage it. I don't know. I don't have to give like a perfect, delivery. But I have practiced this enough. I know my stuff, and I'm going to go and do the best job I can. And if I fail, I'll figure out a way to make it. It's not going to be a disaster, right? So, what can you do to handle that irrational feeling that you have? Yes. Or if I go for this funding meeting and I make this presentation and I don't get funded, then how do I'll find another VC. I'll learn from this failure and I'll find another VC to meet and to figure it out. I'll learn. It's an iterative process, right? So how are you going to comfort yourself? Like, as you did feel and as you did breathe, now you recognize I'm feeling this. And these cards help you understand what feelings are connected to which needs. So, which needs of yours are on stake there, and then also which beliefs of yours are in play that need to be tweaked. So what can you do to comfort yourself? Tell yourself, like I just did a little bit of a demo here, and what can you do to comfort yourself physically? Can you go out and get some fresh air? Can you get some water? Can you do some exercise? Can you take a break, or talk to a friend? What can you do to comfort yourself, right? So you got to do all of these steps to help yourself, right? So this is FBC. This is feel, breathe, and comfort. When you're feeling fearful, when you're feeling anxious, um, and you're feeling anything, this process helps you. Now, what is the point of naming my feelings? Naming your feelings helps you because then it's giving you the intelligence behind the feeling. Oh, there's a need over there. There's a belief over there that needs to be addressed. So that's at stake, and I'm going to take care of it. Yes, that's why naming the feeling is important. It's also like if you're sick for a month and you don't know what's happening to you and you're losing weight. It happened to my mom. You're losing weight. You're you know you're coughing all night. You're not able to focus at work, but there's no way. Like, you've done all your tests. It's not malaria. It's not jaundice. It's not typhoid. It's not any of those things. And it's not COVID. And you're like, "Ah, what is this? I don't know what's happening to me. Oh my God, is this cancer? Is this? Is this that? Oh, I don't know what's happening to me, right? But then the doctor tells you a month later that, oh, this is a new kind of viral fever that's on, and that's what you got. It actually gives you a relief when you find a name for that disease. Why? Because oh, I have a viral. Okay, there's a protocol to treat a viral, and there's an amount of time that the viral starts. Similarly, when you name your feeling, you go from the very stressful, active thing. You go to a logical state where you're like, oh, I named this feeling. Oh, it's fear. Okay, what am I fearing? Oh, what need of mine? What belief? Let me address it, and you're able to move on. Yes. So therefore, naming your feelings help um, in uh, in this situation. Yes. Now, well, I run a full fledged coaching practice for uh, high performers, high achievers, senior leaders, and so on. And I address leadership, I address life, I address toxic difficult relationships, I address self mastery. It's like a holistic program, and therefore we call it ease one. Those renaming all of those programs umbrella as ease infinity, because it helps you connect with the infinite, and it helps you connect with the infinite power from the infinite. It helps you be infinite, right? So we're doing that, and we have courses, coaching, community, team, so many things, right? So I have many clients who come to me, and like one of this client, like before meetings, her mind used to start racing. What if I say the wrong thing? What if they dismiss me? What if I lose my credibility? Right? So even though she had the insight, she was a great founder, she knew her stuff, her signal was very unclear in how she was communicating. And she would over explain or soften her point, or she also had this fear of, she didn't want the limelight. So then because of that, she would not explain all the features really well, because she was so scared of being in the limelight, and later feel very frustrated with herself. Then as we did coaching with her, of course, feel, breathe, and comfort, which I just did with you, is one of the exercises we always give to all our clients. But also really worked on transforming her beliefs, especially the one that she had about not being wanting to be in the limelight, and that made her underperform because she was so scared of being, front and center and being seen by so many people, because she had some difficult experiences about uh, being this straight A student and doing so well that it actually created envy with one of her parents, like a mother envied the daughter. And then also when she got married, she's brilliant, but it made her husband insecure. So then she learned how to put herself in a shell. But then we had to work on so many things. It wasn't just identifying. It was a 6-month process that we did with her. And we worked on these beliefs that we discovered. We worked on these needs that we discovered. And we helped her transform herself. And then, she began speaking with clarity. That's something all leaders need to do. She began speaking with massive clarity. And her words were very strong, very grounded, and they had an impact, right? Because the signal was very clear. So if you want to do deeper work like that, I invite you to join Ease One, where you learn how to identify your beliefs, you work on replacing your unhelpful beliefs with helpful ones. And there are so many roadmaps for every part of your life. As I said, like from leadership influence to self mastery to reclaiming your inner power after toxic relationships and creating something meaningful like a coaching practice based on all the years of expertise that you have. So turning your expertise into impact, right? So we have so many different pathways. And once you join Ease One, that umbrella, you could switch to whichever pathway you like. And these programs are called Lead with Ease, Self Mastery Academy, Heal Strong, and Coach Certification. So yeah, that's Ease One for you. Beautiful, and I see two infinity symbols there. Therefore, I'm thinking of renaming it Ease Infinity. We're going to do a massive launch in June, but it's already available right now for you all to join. Yes. Now the next thing is, so we talked about feel, breathe, and comfort from these flashcards that are available for you in the link, and I also want you to take a spiritual step. Yes. Uh, we want to know our real, true spiritual identity. Right now, a lot of the fear and anxiety is connected to the identity that we have taken at this birth. Now, we are eternal souls and we've had multiple lifetimes. And in different lifetimes, we were different people. I don't know, I was a rat, I was a fish, I was an ant, I was an antess. I don't know what I was. I was a ratess. Uh, I don't know what I was, right? It's so many different lifetimes. And in that lifetime, when I was zoomed into that lifetime, everything seemed so important, so very important. Yes. And now I don't remember anything. I don't remember what I was scared about like 5 days ago. Maybe I went through a lot of fear and so many things. And I don't remember that anyway right now, right? But in this lifetime, I'm zoomed into Namita Purohit, relationships connected to Namita Purohit. Namita Purohit has, the so many identities and so many roles that I have. And anything goes wrong in one of those roles or one of those relationships creates fear and anxiety for me. But I need to rise above this. I need to rise above this identity of Namita Purohit and truly recognize who I am. I'm not Namita Purohit, is just something I have assumed in this play that I'm doing in this lifetime. But my real identity is I am a spirit soul. I'm part and parcel of Krishna, right? So who you are, I'm a spirit soul. Who Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is my relationship with him? I'm an eternal servant, part and parcel of Krishna. I need to remember these 3 points. So we just did FBC at the material level to manage ourselves every day. And then that gives us deeper intelligence on hindsight, and that helps us when we start doing it in the moment, we're able to protect ourselves. But we also need to do this spiritual exercise, these 3 steps of always remembering who you are, who Krishna is, and what is your relationship with him, right? And when we are aware of that, Krishna makes this promise in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and he says, Daivi hiesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So he says that this material, this divine energy of mine is consisting of the 3 modes of material nature is very difficult to overcome. But those who surrender unto me can easily cross beyond it. Right? Now, so all this fear and anxiety that we feel is part of the material energy, part of the material identity that we identify with. All of it is coming from that. But when we rise out of that, when we situate ourselves in our true eternal spiritual identity, as eternal servant, part and parcel of Krishna, and we surrender unto him, and we work in accordance to him. And on Hare Krishna TV, we have so many videos helping you align yourself with your spiritual core. And my show is also about that because it's based on Eastern wisdom and Western psychology, and it helps you become infinite because you're connected to the infinite. Yes. So how do you do that? Is by when we surrender to Krishna, we're able to rise above material nature. We're able to rise above our material identity, material identifications that bring fear and anxiety. And we're able to become fearless and cross over by the Lord's mercy. And it's also said in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-58. And I love this verse. It's Samashrita ye pada pallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavam buddhir vatsa padam param param padam padam yat vipadam natesham, right? So at padam padam, there is vipada. There is so much vipada at every step. There's so much fear. There's so much anxiety. There's so much, catastrophe happening around us, right? So many wars, so many difficult situations, so many plans going awry, relationships going awry, fear of death, so many things. Yes. But for those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, think of the lotus feet of the Lord as a boat. When you take shelter, you're on the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord. You're on Krishna's boat. And he's the shelter of the cosmic manifestation. The entire material modes of nature, the manifestation, everything is under his control. And he's famous as Murari, the killer of the Mura demon. Yes. Then the ocean of the material world becomes so small as the water contained in the hoof print of a calf. Now, I'll show you what that means. Yes. So the goal, I can't read this, but their goal is Param Padam Vaikuntha, the place where there is no material miseries and not the place where there is danger at every step. So we want to go to Param Padam, not Padam Padam Yat Vibhadam Natesham. Now think about this, that the miseries that we experience, the things that cause us fear and anxiety, this material identity, this material world, this material ocean is so difficult to navigate. Like in January, I had the great fortune of being on INS Vikrant, which is the battlefield, the Indian naval ship, battlefield ship, right? And I happened to get a chance to be on that with my family. Beautiful experience. But, so we went to Mazgaon. No, we went to I think it was the docks, yeah. And then from there, we took a ferry. And from that small ferry, then we went to the INS Vikrant ship. And then we went onto the ship because it's not like situated near the Mumbai coast. It's like far away. So that ferry took us over there. Then we got on the ship. And the ship was a city. It's like 1,600 sailors living in that ship. And it was a warrior ship with so many different facilities on that. And we were not allowed to take any pictures because of national safety. Now, when I was on that ship and I was just looking at the waters, after a while, I was like, I want to go back to land. And the ship was moving and, we were going and there was an air show about the different fighter jets and the the helicopters and so many things, right? And I was like, I want to go back home. I'm done on the water. I need to go back home. Yes. And then the sea could be really rough. That day, the sea was very calm and pleasant. The sea can be so rough. And think about Life of Pi, for those of you who watched the movie, where Pi is on this very, very rough ocean in the middle of the ocean. And that's what our existence in the material world is compared to by the verses that I've been talking about today, sharing, right? Now think of the deadliness of that ocean, the loneliness in that ocean, the fear that can come in that ocean, the anxiety that is there in the ocean, and the turbulence and the loneliness and the helplessness, right? And you don't feel like natural in that ocean. And the entire ocean of material existence, which we need to cross, and it's so difficult to cross, that entire ocean, for those who take shelter of their spiritual identity and service to Krishna, that entire ocean becomes so small as the water that is contained in the hoof print of a calf. Vatsapadam, it's not even saying cow, it's saying calf, right? And I put a picture of what a hoof print of a calf looks like in wet mud. And I think this is for a cow. Calf is even smaller. So when the cow is walking on mud, there's an impression of their hoofs, their feet on the mud. So that entire ocean of material existence becomes small, nullified, miniaturized, and it just becomes so small and so difficult to cross over. So if we want to overcome fear and anxiety, in addition to the steps that I've talked about, which is feel, breathe, and comfort, the three steps to handle yourself in the moment. And as you learn how to handle yourself, sometimes you can't do it in the moment. So you're going to do it in hindsight, you're going to do it in the night. And that's where these cards are helpful and handy. Because it helps you review and it's easy. You don't go into another spiral with your emotions because it keeps your logical brain intact, in focus. You also need to do these three spiritual steps that I talked about. Who am I? Who Krishna is, and what is my relationship with him? I need to remind myself that every day. And therefore, how do I remind myself of that every day? Is through the process of bhakti, through deity worship, going to the temple, chanting the mantra, connecting yourself with spiritual knowledge every day. That's what helps you do. Ocean becomes water in the Vatsapadam. Yes? So this is something that we want to do. And yeah, I was going to tell you the story that you're dead anyway. Now, this you are dead anyway, so why worry is not me telling you you're dead anyway. It's me telling myself, right? So in from 2016 to 2019, 3 years of my life, I was being slandered left, right, and center. All kinds of allegations were put on me wherever I went by one person, and people tend to believe whoever rings the doorbell first, whoever goes and rings the bell first, think that that guy's the winner. So whatever my karma, I did that to that person in previous life. I'm getting it back, so I keep my poise. But it was very scary, right? Because you may lose your possessions, you may lose everything, but your reputation is something that you protect so much. And once you lose your reputation, everything else really has no meaning. You can, if you have your reputation, you can build everything back. But here I was being attacked for everything, and in a false way that I stood for. And they were very powerful voices. And I didn't know how to protect myself. And I thought that if I go and try to defend myself to every person they're going out and talking about me, whether it's my spiritual circles or it's in my community or it's in my friend circle, wherever, like I was being slandered everywhere. They really wanted to alienate me, isolate me, and leave me alone. Now, as they were doing that, it was very scary. I had so much fear, so much anxiety. And I used to wake up in the morning wondering, like, I don't know what they're going to write on email. So what they used to do is they used to copy people on email. Like they used to write emails to people and they used to copy me on those emails where they used to talk about me to those people. And I was like, how much energy do I have, right, to defend myself? How many places am I going to go and defend myself? How many places am I going to go and how many times am I going to tell them, like, stop lying? And, right now doesn't seem like it's a good time for me right now. It doesn't seem very supportive. So what do I do? And as I was thinking about it, and because of the guidance I have received and the investment that all my spiritual teachers have done for me, and then what's available in the books in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada's purports, I was sitting one day in front of my deities and I was just thinking, what am I trying to protect? I'm trying to protect the reputation that is connected to Namita Purohit, right? Like, she is this person, she should be seen in this way, and this is what she stands for. And in an honest way, I'm an honest person, and that's what I want to protect. That's what they're trying to destroy. But because I'm connecting myself to thinking I'm Namita Purohit, I'm feeling fear and anxiety. Yes? And what I told myself, and by grace of my gurus and my parents, what I told myself is, in that moment, and is by them that I was able to remember everything, is that they can finish Namita Purohit, the reputation and the identity. But Namita Purohit is dead anyway. She's dead because if she's going to die, I don't know when I'm going to die, but assuming a normal human span of life, she's going to die in another 40, 50 years. She's dead anyway. If that means if I know there's an end to Namita Purohit in 50 years, it's okay, so it's dead. I'm dead now, which means I'm dead. If I know I'm dying in 50 years, which means Namita Purohit is dead. But Namita Purohit, the spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, eternal servant of Krishna, that identity, they can destroy Namita Purohit's identity here. This identity that I'm spirit, soul, part and parcel of Krishna cannot be destroyed, cannot be taken away from me. They can't take it away from me. The most powerful forces of the world cannot take it away from me. Even Krishna cannot take it away from me. Krishna is helpless. I am here to serve. I'm a servant of Krishna. That is my identity. Even Krishna cannot take it away from me. And my relationship of service to Krishna is mine. Nobody can take it away from me. So when I realized that if Namita Purohit, that identity is going to die anyway, she's dead now. What am I trying to protect? I'm dead anyway. So why worry? Let them do what they want. I'm going to focus my life. It's great. It's great impetus for me, great situation for me to refocus and go deeper spiritually. I'm going to refocus my life in through my work. How can I serve Krishna? Yes. And I'm going to double down on that. Right? Because I'm not going to focus on Namita Purohit, but I'm going to focus on the service that I have towards Krishna. Right? And how can I serve through my work? Some of us may be serving directly. Some of us may be, we're going to work, we're going to offices, we run our companies and things like that. But how can I follow the principles of the Gita in whatever I'm doing and serve Krishna? And when I was able to think that, I felt liberated. I actually set up a filter in my email where I started sending all their emails to spam. I don't even want to read it. Go do what you want with my reputation. Go do what you want with whatever. I don't even want to focus on it. I don't even want to think about it because it's dead anyway. I'm going to focus on this and put my energy here. Right? And that took me away from so much fear and anxiety while I was practicing feel, breathe, and comfort. Yes? And this realization comes, when we are sincerely trying to practice or we have as in my case, the causeless mercy that comes, and in everyone's case from our gurus. So think about these things. And I'm live every Friday on the Hare Krishna TV channel and alternate weeks on my channel. So please subscribe to the Hare Krishna TV channel and please subscribe to my channel. The link to subscribing to my channel is in the description below, wherever you're watching. And your next step is to subscribe to my channel, to subscribe to the Hare Krishna TV channel, to get these flashcards. The link is again in the description below that will help you follow the feel, breathe, and comfort steps and give you vocabulary for your feelings and needs. So it's easier for you to do your own introspection and to help you elevate yourself. It's a small investment you make in yourself. And also invite you to join Ease One that I talked about, which is now, the last 6 years, I've built many different programs, right from self-mastery to building a strong core, being clear, being emotionally regulated, being aligned with who you truly are, acting from that space, then also to heal from toxic dynamics, to learn how to deal with toxic dynamics and narcissistic dynamics at work and in relationships, to help you get your inner power back. And then also developed a leadership program to lead with ease for leaders and for founders, startup founders. There's 9 steps over there. Self-mastery has 7 steps. The Heal Strong has 5 steps. Leadership has 9 steps. And then also for those of you who want to make an impact based on your expertise and your wisdom and who want to become coaches, also have a coach certification program and also a business of coaching program. Some of you already have your coaching methodology, but you want to learn how to set up the business of coaching. Ease One will help you with that. So link in the description. This has been my work over the last 6 years and in serving so many clients and in serving so many different people. So, and also I have a book on influence and you can make the book purchase. Future episodes, please subscribe again to my YouTube and Hare Krishna TV channel. Turn on the notifications. And if you liked this video, please share it with others. And now we will go on to Q&A. And before that, I believe sometimes there is a little bit of a break.
Before a single drop, there is a heartbeat. At Haribol, that heartbeat is never traded for milk. Every cow and bull lives protected lifelong. This is Ahimsa. This is kindness. This is devotion. Switch to Haribol Ahimsa A2 milk.
Yes, definitely get Haribol Ahimsa A2 milk. I have it, and it's beautiful to have milk where the cows are nicely protected and taken care of. It's A2, and it's also very creamy. Can make very good ghee from the milk also, from the cream that comes. Yes, so I'm happy to take some questions from the audience. And we have Saurabh Dwivedi ji. Why do I keep overthinking after meetings or conversations? Um, that's a natural thing, Saurabh. A lot of us think after meetings and conversations, and that's called reflection or a postmortem. And we do that reflection to see, what went well, what didn't go well, where did we do well, where we didn't, express things clearly. Is there a way to make it up? Is there a way to, fix it? Things like that, right? So that's great. But if it's too much overthinking, it's not just, postmortem evaluation and thinking about it, but it's too much overthinking, then think about if your identity is tied to your performance in the meeting. There may be some beliefs, there may be think where, you may feel that some examples could be, I must be perfect in everything I do. And if I don't do that, that means it's a disaster. I'm just exaggerating it, but you get the point, right? Now that belief doesn't help us. Yes, I'm going to try to be perfect. I'm going to try to give my best shot. And if it, and wherever I miss, I'll go and fix it. I'll figure it out and I'll go and fix it. I'll do it again. That's a healthy way of thinking, right? Now, another reason, another thing could be is that where we are thinking that, what will people think of me if I didn't use the right words or if I didn't present myself perfectly and things like that, right? So there are many such reasons because of which we overthink. And overthinking is also something that is considered to be in the mode of, if overthinking is in a lamentful way, where we are feeling bad, sad, cranky about the past, then we are lamenting, right? So that is considered as the mode of ignorance. That is considered as a tamasic quality, right? Now, we don't want to do that. We want to learn how to snap out of it. So the first thing is to recognize when you go into your overthinking spiral. Also recognizing, doing the feel, breathe, and comfort exercise, identifying your needs, identifying your beliefs, and working on them. And then also doing all of that, but then also changing your lifestyle, catching yourself, first thing, also catching yourself in while you're overthinking and learning how to snap out of it and doing something else, doing something productive, sometimes writing down things else, but also changing your lifestyle from tamasic to more sattvic. And sometimes a lot of us like to live in our head. And sometimes what we really need is to live, get into our bodies and do some physical work, whether it's cleaning your house, cleaning your office, exercise, things like that, that helps you come out of the mind and come to the body, and it shifts your thinking. So some of these things help you. All the best, Saurabhji. Next question, please. Ishan Verma, I'm always stuck in the past. What to do? I think it's similar to what Saurabh Dwivedi ji asked, right? Being stuck in the past and always thinking about the past is not forward action, right? So it's a tamasic guna. It's a tamasic guna that you are uh, living in, and it's more thinking about what I could have done better instead of taking action of like what can I do action in the future. Now, a lot of times we're like, oh, how I could fix the past and my situation right now would have been better. Many times we get stuck in those loops, and I don't know if that's true for you. I'm just speaking what's I've seen in my clients and what's coming to me right now. Is we're fearful of taking action for the future. So we think about the past a lot, right? We're fearful of taking bold steps for the future to fix our condition and to fix our life. And it becomes easier to ruminate about the past than take responsibility for our present and for our future and fix our life. Yes. So that is something you need to do, and you need to start for having more sattvic lifestyle. Details are there on the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 17th chapter, and 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And having a more sattvic lifestyle, because You need to take action. You need to come out of tamas to at least rajas to begin with. And rajas is where there's action, right? And action can be fearful for some of us, where we're very scared to take action. Now, is that your thing? I don't know, because this is a medium where there's only so much I can serve you with, and we're able to serve people better, with systematic programs and helping you really get a handle on yourself and understand yourself and work on yourself inside of our programs, the Ease One program. But hopefully, this is helpful for you. Wish you all the best, Ishanji. Next question, please. What should I do when people are looking to me during uncertainty or crisis? That means you are a natural leader. People are looking towards you for leadership when they are in an uncertain situation or there's a crisis situation. Now, there are two scenarios here. One thing is, are these people you are like, is that crisis or is that uncertainty something that you're responsible for? Or that's part of, your role in your company or in your personal space? Then you need to step up into that role and you need to learn how to manage a crisis. There are steps that are about crisis management that you want to be well versed with. You want to be able to handle uncertainty, which means you first need to be able to handle yourself in those uncertain situations and not get swayed by it, and have a clear mind and a clear signal that you're giving out to people that you got it sorted, you have it already, you're certain you can manage it. So you got to work on yourself, build yourself to come to that point. Now, it depends on your role. If you are the leader, then yes, you got to run your ship, but you got to bring people together and get everyone's input on what do they feel is the best way to handle that situation. But as a leader, you need to take certain action. Now, if it's in a family situation, same principles apply. Whatever I shared about leadership, if you're responsible. Now, sometimes a lot of people will come to you because they see you as a natural leader. They see your life is sorted. They see you as a high achiever, and they'll come to you with uncertainties or crises that they are in that have nothing to do with you. But they're coming to you for guidance, they're coming to you for, mentorship, coaching, whatever. Right now, in those situations, we don't want to tell them what to do, right? We want to help them use their own resources to think through things carefully and come to the right situation. You don't want to step into and manage that uncertainty or crisis for them. Yeah. So I hope this distinction is clear and helpful to you, Bhaktin Saujanya ji. Thank you for your nice question. Next question, please. Why does anxiety rise before presentations, interviews, or important calls? It's a lot of performance anxiety, right? I would give it a name. It's performance anxiety. I need to perform really well in this presentation. I need to perform really well in this interview. If I don't, then I won't get this job. And oh my God, it's going to be terrible. I need to perform really well in this important call. Now, when you have that anxiety, whatever you would have done really well, you're not able to do it anyway, right? So this is why anxiety rises in before presentations, interviews, or important calls, because it's about performance. Now, you haven't asked me how to handle it, but I'll just share some tips over here. Is that first thing is you need to be really well prepared. You need to know your subject matter really well, right? If you're trying to portray yourself as something else and you don't have your subject matter in place, you won't be able to handle that conversation, and that's why anxiety is going to come. But when you know your subject matter really well, then there should not be an anxiety. There won't be, because you know your stuff. And no matter what people ask you, you'll be able to handle it. Now, another thing could be about communication skills, about presentation skills, about how you're organizing information. Who is the audience for this presentation or interview or important call? Do you understand what information they're looking for, and have you prepared all the questions that could come, and have you prepared your answers for that, right? In your answers, not just technical answers, but answers that make sense to them, right? Now, when they ask you, do you know about digestion, they're not asking for like an entire like a PhD level detail of digestion. They're probably looking at a high level summary. So you need to know who is going to be given a high level summary, who is looking for more details, what to speak when, what is their viewpoint from which they're looking at the problem, and that's the answer you need to give them, and that requires preparation. So you need to prepare yourself with all of these things, yes, and you want to give yourself some grace, because you are going to make mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen. I remember one time I had this very senior lady, leadership coach, and she organized me to speak to all her clients in Dallas. And I was super prepared. I had aced my presentation. I knew it like the back of my hand. I was prepared for all the questions. I had my camera, I had my lighting, I had everything going on. But the internet went bad in the middle of the presentation. So failures are going to happen. Things are going to be beyond your control. I couldn't do anything about that tech issue. Yes. And then how did I fix it? I told this lady, I'm really sorry. It's embarrassing for you. You invited all these leaders and I had a tech issue. I'm going to record this entire presentation and share it as a link for all these people. And that's what I did. So there's always a way to fix it. Yes. But are you super prepared in showing up? Also, sometimes you also need mentors, you need guides, you need coaches to help you. Have you taken that help? Because we are limited by our own intelligence, but we need so many perspectives. Have you talked to the experts in the matter? Have you gotten coaching? Have you done it? I know there's AI, and I use AI a lot in my work, in terms of strategizing and marketing and things like that. But I went back to my coach because I was like, there's only so much AI can guide me. It's just taking me in spirals. I went back to my coach, talked to my coach, had a few sessions, and she gave me such a nice, clear plan, helping me think through so many things, right? So getting all that help helps you prepare and helps you overcome performance anxiety, and failures are going to happen. Wish you all the best, Molly Jashji. Next question, please. How do I know whether my fear is intuition or just insecurity? It's a good question. Whatever it is, there's fear, and that fear needs to be settled first. Yes? So you first need to settle your fear, and that's why we have feel, breathe, comfort, and we have these flashcards that you can get that help you with the feel, breathe, comfort steps that I talked about today. Yes? You need to help yourself, right? And you need to work, and when you do feel, breathe, and comfort, and you understand the needs and the feelings and the scripts that are coming behind your fear, it becomes very clear to you whether it's insecurity or intuition. Yes? Now, once you calm yourself down with feel, breathe, and comfort, the steps, you still want to think about, why is this coming to me? Am I, and do I need to protect myself here in some way? And then do it, because whether it's intuition or it's insecurity, you still need to do the same steps. And you still need to take the same inside steps and the outside steps to do it. And later when you come, hindsight is always 2020. And later when things fall in place, or things are over, in hindsight, you will know whether it was intuition or insecurity. But a lot of times, when we're not calm and we haven't reached a very high calm state, it's not intuition. It's a lot of our fear masquerading as intuition. Because intuition requires for us to be, intuitive. It requires us to be in a very calm state, in a low desire state, which a lot of us are not in right now. So wish you all the best, Thutiji. Next question, please. Why do I feel anxious even when things are going mostly well? Nice question, Samruddhiji. Sometimes anxiety could be a pattern that we have. Maybe we've learned it from our primary caregivers. Maybe your mom, your dad is an anxious person, or there was a teacher that you liked, but she was very anxious, and that's how she handled every situation. So then we ended up learning those behaviors just by proximity. Another reason could also be that we have lived in a situation where things have been unpredictable and over a long period of time. So it could be long, complex PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm exaggerating it, but it could be a long period of living in a situation where things have been very unpredictable, and that can create anxiety even when things are going well. where we haven't yet learned how to trust the external, that things are okay. I don't have to be anxious. Or we have had some experience where it was pretty stressful and crazy making and fearful, and there was a lot at stake. And then we came out of it, but we never did a good postmortem of that incident. We never really addressed our feelings, emotions, and how it disturbed our energy, and we never addressed it. So that can lead to anxiety even when things are going mostly well. Yes, and also sometimes when we have too many needs, too many things that we want, too many desires. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want that, I want that. Then we're mostly anxious why things are not going well. Yeah. Wish you all the best, Samriddhi ji. Next question, please. Inderjeet ji Lamba. What causes me to control everything when I'm afraid things will fall apart? Your answer is in the question itself, that you're because things are falling apart, you want to control everything so that they don't fall apart, because you don't want that falling apart outcome, and you think that you can't live with the outcome, that everything's fallen apart and I can still rebuild my life and I can still fix things and I can still go ahead. Yeah. So that's when we control, and that's why we try to control many things. Instead of that's like reactive, instead of being proactive about what do I need to take action on today, and what do I need to do, and what am I going to take care of today. Yeah. Next question, please. How do I manage fear when my personal relationships are affecting my work? How do I manage fear when my personal relationships are affecting my work? Maybe it's how do I manage my fear and my emotions when my personal relationships are affecting my work. We're human beings. Because we're conditioned and we identify with this identity that we have. We feel safe when we feel connected, right? That's one of our needs, connection, and it's mentioned here along so many other needs. So when we feel connected and we have good relationships where we feel a sense of belonging, connection, community, we feel safe. But then when we don't have that, then we feel unsafe, and then we become scared and we become anxious and become sad, and that starts affecting our work, and that's what we address in ease one, where when you're in a toxic narcissistic relationship or difficult relationships, and then that impacts your performance and your power and impact at work. How do you deal with that? So a lot of it is trying to address the relationship and seeing if it can be talked out and make a good relationship, fix the relationship. If that's not possible, understand the impact of that difficult relationship on yourself, and working on healing yourself and understanding your own patterns, working on your patterns that may have made you susceptible to that relationship, and also making new friends, new people, new relationships where you feel seen, where you feel supported, where you don't have to perform, and where you feel safe. So all of these things are important to take care of your need for connection, so that you can feel safe, you can feel happy, and you deal with all of these emotions and the aftermath of those abusive relationships and difficult relationships, and so that they don't affect your work. We do offer that service inside of Ease One, and you can always join and get help with us. Thank you. Next question, please. I think we can take one last question. Yes, please. How to follow Brahmacharya? What are the rules? How to follow Akhanda Brahmacharya? I think what you need to do is to speak to brahmacharis who are following these things. So in ISKCON temples, there are many brahmacharis who are following Naishtika, and many of them are Naishtika brahmacharis, and they are following those rules very nicely. And it's important that you have a conversation with them, because not everyone is. See, in the Indian system, we have the varnas. We have brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasi. Now, some brahmacharis don't enter grihastha ashram, and they continue in their brahmacharya, and then later on become sannyasis. Some move towards grihasthashram, right? Like, and we were all supposed to be brahmacharis while we were youthful. Now, of course, it's, people talk about body count and things like that as if it's some like badge of honor. Now, not everyone is inclined to this akhanda brahmacharya way of life. And not everyone, it may be good for them in there. And what do I mean by good for you? In Vedic culture, what is good for you is what helps you transcend birth, disease, old age, and death, right? So everyone's path is going to be different depending upon what our current psychophysical nature is. Yes, so you have to do what is right for you, right? It is not that a brahmachari is higher than a good grihasthra who's committed to Krishna and serving Krishna. Yes, that is my understanding. Of course, brahmacharya seems tough, grihasthashram is tough in a different way. Now, not everyone is suited for everything. So it's important that you talk to some senior brahmacharis who have been following these things, understand what it is, understand what the challenges are, and what it means for you and what is right for you. Yeah. Wish you all the best, Sunny. And I believe we're at closing now. Thank you all for being here with me today. And I'm grateful to the Hare Krishna TV tech team. And to stay in touch with us, please subscribe to the Hare Krishna TV YouTube channel, where you're watching, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm live every Friday, alternate weeks on Hare Krishna TV and alternate weeks on my channel. The link to my YouTube is in the description below. Please get the flashcards because this is going to really help you overcome your fear and anxiety and name your emotions and take care of yourself. Link for that is in the description below as well. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.